Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome everyone to the Valentine's Day or Lover's Day, as they say in Turkey, meeting of the Plant-Rich Diet Task Force with Yasar, who's the chair of ESRAG, and Mina, who is our projects director, coming back online again. So it's wonderful to see you again, Mina, feeling well. And we have 4 members of our task force here, and we'll just start off with quick introductions. Kris, do you want to just go by who I see? Kris?
Sure. Well, welcome and thanks for this opportunity to speak with you this morning. I'm Kris Cameron. I live in Wenatchee, Washington, which is right in the center of Washington State in the United States. I have been an ESRAG member and a Plant-Rich Diet Task Force member for 2 years now. I'm also serving as the ESRAG lead for my Rotary district, and I'm also the environmental committee chair for my club.
Wonderful. And Scott?
Yeah, my name is Scott Nelson. I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We have 3 clubs in Ann Arbor, USA. We're Ann Arbor North. Manish is also in my club. Manish and I really helped to have the task force take flight originally. And I'm the original co-chair, although Doug has correctly said that we've got really a number of members now that have sort of equal co-chair status without a formal organization.
Okay, fine.
Manish?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Manish Mehta, and as Scott introduced, I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Ann Arbor North as well. If you're wondering where Ann Arbor is we're about 30 miles away from Detroit, the northernmost part of the United States. And we regard ourselves as a very progressive city, very committed to sustainability. And Scott is the life and soul of our sustainability movement in our club. And I'm very proud and pleased to work with him and this august group of Rotarians from around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dawn?
Good morning, Yasar. Good morning, Mina. Thank you for joining us today. It's so nice to have you here. I'm Dawn Byford. I'm in the Rotary Club of Canmore in Alberta, Canada. And so that would be in the western side of Canada. I've been involved with the task force kind of from the beginning. I got pulled in by Karen Kendrick's hands, and it's been just like this amazing journey because I'm trained as a plant-based cook and I'm trained in holistic nutrition, and I was teaching, cooking classes on how good plant-based foods are, but I never understood the environmental impacts of it until I joined this task force. And it's really taken my passion for being a Rotarian, for being a humanitarian, all that stuff to a whole nother level. And I feel really honored to be part of this group, and everybody has been so inspiring here. So yeah, and I'm excited for continuing on with all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. And Catherine?
Hi, I'm Catherine Shegrud. I'm in Doug's wonderful club in the Caribbean in St. Thomas, and
It's our club, not my
club. As I was going to say, Doug's already probably said that our club is focused on the environment and on the planet and making changes on our island as much as we can. And I'm really happy to be part of this task group and of our club.
Great, thank you all.
Thank you all. And just let me comment on Ann Arbor. I was in Ann Arbor, I think about 50 years ago when I visited a friend of mine who was doing a PhD in mathematics over there. Don, are you close to Calgary?
Well, I live half time in Calgary, and yes, so Rycon's a very big focus for us right now. And
Joey is in your club, isn't it?
yeah,
Joey, your
yeah. I'll see Joey in about an hour and a half because it's 6
Okay.
a.m. here. Our club meeting's at 7:30, and yeah, so we're really keen on trying to get the sustainability piece in Rycon. Where it's a little bit of a slow start, I have to say, but I'm hoping with some that we get somewhere with this. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is I think soon ESRAG board will, appoint probably a team for Calgary Rycon on behalf of ESRAG. So I think we should be in that group, maybe leading it. I don't know.
I would love to be part of all that. Whatever that looks like, I'd be honored. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yasar, what part of Turkey are you in?
I'm in Istanbul. I'm
Oh,
on
you are. Oh dear.
the Asian side,
Okay.
close to the Bosphorus and on the northern part of the city. And I'm in Istanbul for the last 40 years or so. But
Okay.
also, let me tell you, I spent 6 years in Pennsylvania. I got my master's and PhD degrees at the University of Pennsylvania. So I was there for 6 years.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
Yasar, could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Rotary and ESRAG?
Okay, let me tell you. I worked in business in a corporation, large corporation, one of the largest corporations in Turkey for close to 30 years. And after I retired, soon I set up an NGO on sustainability and footprint. That's what we called it at the time. And it was involved with schools, looking after how schools are doing in terms of energy. So we were comparing schools and identifying what needs to be done. So then I met some Rotarians in my neighborhood. So they invited me to the club, Rotary Club. I attended a couple of months before joining them, but then decided, I think the Rotarians are more impactful people. So if I join them, I probably can do more for the environment and sustainability than in my NGO. So I joined. And I was the first district environment officer in my district.
Great.
And about a year later, I joined ESRAG. And then this is my 6th year on the board of ESRAG.
Wow.
Thank you for that service. Wow.
That's how I got into Rotary and ESRAG.
That's great. Thank you for
Beautiful
sharing.
layover in Istanbul last month. I stopped. I flew by Turkish Airlines from Detroit to Singapore, and on my way back and forth, I stopped in Istanbul and had a really wonderful time at your airport. And I thought about you very fondly. I just didn't give you enough notice. I didn't want to contact you, given the hectic layover period. But I took a beautiful walking tour of Istanbul, the old city, bazaar, etc.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
good.
And Mina, what club are you with?
I'm at the Rotary Club on Nilgiris West. I live
In Nilgiris.
in
Okay, I've been there.
Well, this is the first biosphere reserve in India. We are surrounded by 4 tiger reserves,
Yeah.
and we go from scrub jungle to montane evergreen forests.
Right.
So we have all the big 5, other than the rhino, we have everything else here. And on Sunday, I had a tiger jump out from here and go. So no, we are in a crisis with human wildlife this thing right now.
So you're close to Ooty?
I'm about 17 kilometers from Ooty.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah, I've been there.
So I stay away from the crowds. So I'm basically an ecologist, and I finished my PhD in the US, and I was working as a tenure track in University of Florida, and then decided to move back to India. And I was working with farmers, creating what do you call, like a small value chain. And then I moved to the Nilgiris and I joined Rotary, and I joined ESRAG in 2019. Most
Okay.
of our club's work has been with the what do you call, organic tea estates and getting sustainability through menstrual hygiene. We started with that,
Okay.
and everything works around the tea, this thing, trying to work with that.
Excellent. I see. Yeah, I forgot to mention I'm an engineer, an industrial engineer with a PhD degree as well, from Cincinnati, where I came about 37 years ago for grad school after studying in Bangalore, India, in Indian Institute of Science and Bangalore University in automation. But I now work in sustainable manufacturing, primarily with the automotive industry and introducing lightweight materials and advanced coatings and new technologies to scale for commercial applications. So that's my larger background. Anyway, I'm semi-retired now.
Our primary purpose here is to tell Yasar about the Plant-Rich Diet Task Force. We've been working on our presentation here furiously, Yasar, with some presentation slides. I noticed last evening that Kris and Don were in there rearranging the furniture somewhat significantly. So we have to decide who's leading this talk at this point.
My assumption was that Scott, you and Manish would get started and that we would contribute along the way.
Okay. All right. So do I have the ability, Yasar, to
Yes.
share screens?
I believe so.
Yes. Okay, I think we're almost here. I actually have both presentations up. Some of the links were removed from the original presentation. Let me get our revised presentation up and running, and we'll see how it goes.
I think you want to go into slideshow mode so that the videos and things work.
Oh, yeah, you know, I think that I'm sharing the wrong thing here. So I'm going to stop the share. Let me try again. And sorry for the delay here. I got to get up to the top here. There we go. And share. Yeah, I don't know why I don't see this particular the correct thing on my maybe somebody else needs to share this. I've got it up on my, oh, number 3, let's see. Number 2. So what do you see now?
I think that's it. Yep, that's it.
Is that it? Oh, magic. Okay. Yeah, so this is our opening slide here. You know, plant-rich diets, we go by a certain definition. That's on the next slide. We have a logo here, down here, if you can see my arrow. And of course, today's February the 14th. And so we just wanted to show a colorful display of plant-rich foods there. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we've adopted the definition of plant-rich diets. It's really the most common term that's used in sustainability. This is the Eat Lancet display of what plant-rich diets are. There was a whole commission put together over there at Harvard University, and they published this in 2019. So they simply said that this plant-rich diet, as displayed here, is the most healthful for both direct human health and planetary health. And you'll notice that it's not vegan. We were told by Ian Riceley, who we had an audience with, that we ought not be the vegan Taliban. And the reality is that, based on food availability, that the correct definition of the plant-rich diet is simply to go as far as you can, depending on your location and food availability. This slide really illustrates the importance from a drawdown perspective of plant-rich diets. This is drawdown, which ESRAG and the climate action teams have partnered with. So you may know, Yasar, last week, it was announced that over the previous 12-month period, the Earth has surpassed the 1.5 degrees of warming, with January being the warmest January on record. Right here in Ann Arbor, we had record high temperatures 2 days running, right during that same period. 61 degrees in the middle of February is way up there. You'll see there two scenarios. So scenario one is to limit warming to 2 degrees centigrade, and scenario two is to limit warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. So we've been thinking that we should focus on scenario 1, 2 degrees, simply because it's very likely that we would pass the 1.5 degrees, and we have done it. I looked up an article in Nature magazine that said that it might be it might be 2030 before we pass 1.5. So it appears that global warming is perhaps accelerating. You'll see here on the slide that Project Drawdown ranks plant-rich diets as the second leading solution for drawing down greenhouse gas emissions, with food waste being the number one. And I would point out that we have in the task force portfolio cleaner cooking and solar panels. And so we really have task forces that are in the top 10 of Project Drawdown's map for drawing down greenhouse gas emissions. This slide here speaks to the direct human health benefits of plant-rich diets. Diabetes is low-hanging fruit. It's very easily treated, reversible even, at a high degree of potency with plant-rich, high-fiber diets. I recently read in a book that I'm currently reading that just came out that even cancer at the 80% level can be controlled, treated, reduced, and maybe even prevented. This is a slide that I presented at my district conference last week, which was a combined district conference. And it really shows the convergence of plant-rich diets there as a combination of lifestyle as medicine, which proposes to reduce global chronic disease by 80%, and a climate-safe lifestyle. The common ground there are plant-rich diets. And so the question could be, could Rotary be the engine of education to educate the world on the benefits of plant-rich diets? And our answer is yes. This slide here, we've got several slides like this where we outline how plant-rich diets fit the 4-way test like a glove. And I won't read the slide, but as Dawn said, we've aggregated the data on it. So it is scientifically the truth that plant-rich diets are beneficial. it's fair to all concerned. We see that it's win, 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 win all the way around. It's win for the animals, it's win for the planet, it's win for sustainability, it's win for direct human health. We sit around tables and eat at Rotary, and so sitting around enjoying plant-rich diets will build goodwill and better friendships, no question about it. And of course, you know, with a win-win-win scenario, it's beneficial to all concerned. So our aim as a task force is to inspire Rotarians, clubs, districts, communities to eat more plant foods. We give, you know, we inspire projects. We have given dozens of talks to Rotary clubs. We have those talks up on YouTube, but I'm presenting to Elizabeth Hinkey's group next week, for instance, who's a champion of solar panels at the Habitat for Humanity. And we have a 15-day plant-rich diet challenge, which we'll talk a little bit more about. So this is our goal. I had several slides on this, but we've got it summarized here. This is RICON of last year in Melbourne. So you'll see Manish there, Amberie from Singapore, myself. This was a big win. We scored a breakout session at the Rotary International Conference. Malcolm McKay is a lifestyle medicine educator and medical doctor. He was fully one half of the presentation. And Philip Wolin is a sustainability expert, speaking very powerfully on the impact of animal agriculture, in particular on the degradation of our planet. These guys are both in Melbourne, so it was just like the perfect combination. They just simply drove across town. We pulled them in and made a presentation. We actually have that presentation up on YouTube. Manish grabbed it and we push it up to YouTube, so you can watch this presentation. Prior to that, in 2021, when our task force was launched, we actually created a frame booth. You may recall that that was a year for virtualization of RICON due to COVID. So we have a frame booth. I have a link to it on one of my other slides in the other presentation. Prior to that, even our task force launched because we had a 7th place vote getter for I Fix the Planet. Manish, myself, and one of our original co-founders, Andrea Wotan, produced that video. In Houston in 2022, you know, the concept of the position paper within ESRAG is kind of interesting. The 7th area of focus was given rise partly due to a position paper that was written by ESRAG members, Karen Kendrick Hands, and so forth. So we've written 2 position papers. I went to the Houston Rotary International Conference and personally passed out 100 copies, one-on-one, of the position paper that I wrote. And I'll just make a quick note about that position paper. We have a book reading club here in Ann Arbor. I got into a conversation with a Jewish lawyer. We're reading the book How Not to Age by Michael Greger, and he was so impressed with the position paper that he wanted to excerpt it for his green team at his congregation. So that's an interesting activity that's happening, is these green teams in congregations. I also tabled a booth in the House of Friendship with Alan Anderson of RCAT. And so we had a lot of really great conversations about global climate change at RICON in Houston. In 2024, we missed it here on our slide, but we gave rise to a vegan fellowship in Rotary, and we have a booth that we're going to have in Singapore this year. We tried to get another breakout session and were declined. At that breakout session, we had a speaker that would have spoken on diabetes prevention and also on the environmental side, but that was declined. In one of our primary products in 2021 in October was the 15-day plant-rich diet challenge. So that's on our list here. We actually recorded 15 interviews with global experts on all aspects of plant-rich diets. We emailed out 15 daily emails with recipes and so forth. And so that challenge was taken electronically. We had over about 600 people sign up for it in 2021. In 2022, the person on your screen by the name of Kris Cameron came along and said, "Hey, can I use that challenge? Can I use your materials?" And not only did we say yes, but she awesomely elevated the challenge, rewrote parts of it, launched it in her district, and then had the audacity to create a do-it-yourself project kit. And so people can organize their own challenge and use these materials that are freely available up on our YouTube channel. We also produced a Rotary plant-based cookbook as part of it with a starter kit. So the rest of this here, we've created a green events handbook. Actually, we participated in its creation, making sure that that plant-rich diets were written into the green events handbook. And you can see down the list here, we'll continue to expound upon these as we go along. Does anybody want to jump in here at this point, or should I keep going? Keep going, okay. Okay, so this slide talks about a global grant, maybe one of the first global grants that in the area of the environment. This was created by Doug White, who is on our team, but it may not have happened if we hadn't had the Plant-Rich Diet Task Force. Our club, Ann Arbor North, Manish is our global grant champion in Ann Arbor North. The Rotary Club of Toledo, where the co-chair there, Mike, what's Mike's last name?
Noble.
Oh, Noble, thank you. Yeah, Mike Noble, the chair of his district, their district got involved in the global grant was done at a farmer's market in St. Thomas, and a refrigeration unit was installed that also is powered by solar panels and a battery pack. And so this is you see the partners there, the World Central Kitchen and so forth. This actually there's the actual physical items that are attendant with this global grant project. So you'll see the benefits over there on the left side of the slide. You know, energy is expensive down there on the island, so it provides the clean energy. It's a resilient project. It has sustainability. It reduces food waste, and it really helps the farmers with their food distribution at the market. I'm happy to have Doug or Manish say anything more on that particular project. Okay, there's more on the Plant Rich Diet Challenge. To date, we've had over 1,000 persons sign up. And the partnership with other task forces has been rather good. I've worked with Chris Stein. He's actually, one thing I didn't tell you is that I'm sitting in my office at the U.S. Geological Survey, where I've been for 40 years on the University of Michigan campus. And Chris Stein is a 44-year veteran with the National Park Service. So we're both in the Department of the Interior. So Chris and I have been become good friends over this, and other members of our team have participated significantly in the Operation Pollination. 3 of us are OPAs, Operation Pollination Ambassadors. And Chris, has said that the focus on pollinators is, in a word, a gateway drug. He literally calls it. Because it really helps to highlight the biodiversity loss that's happening on our planet. And agriculture is a major driver of the decline of pollinators, the way it's currently portrayed.
Scott,
So,
Dawn participated in the MoMA tour. Maybe she could say a few words about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, we headed it off. David Eaton started the tour, the 2020, the MoMA Hope Friendship Tour, and it started in Calgary. Actually, we had our first signing with our district governor at the downtown club. And so what we did is I arranged for David to go to various clubs, and then we would go into a talk as well. And then we'd also bring in the fact that eating a plant-rich diet is another way to help our pollinators. And a lot of people don't think about those connections. That's the thing. We don't really think about, we'll plant some trees for the butterflies. We'll do some wildflower gardens and things like that. But we don't always understand that they're a migratory species and they need food sources and they need places to rest and to grow and to, just to survive all along the way. And a lot of this animal agriculture through pesticides, especially glyphosate, that's sprayed on crops, feed crops, that really damages the milkweed plants. And so that's what the monarchs need to eat. So if they don't have food, they can't survive. And also with climate change, that's also causing a lot of trouble for them in their migratory patterns. So it's really interesting when we look at plant-rich diets. It's not just about one aspect. There's a whole slew of things that really truly make a difference. And it's one simple action, not always easy for people, I get that, but one simple action that can completely change how the health of the world and the health of us, the people on it, and all the species that live here. So it's a really powerful way to see the connections between plant-rich diets and a lot of these other activities that Rotary wants to engage in terms of the environmental movement and protection of our planet.
Yeah, the preceding event to the MoMA Hope Tour was the Monarch Boxcar Tour, where Jennifer Jones signed, on behalf of Rotary, the Operation Pollination Pledge. That tour started in Windsor, which is right across the river from where Manish and I are, and we participated and attended the kickoff of the Boxcar Tour in Windsor, Canada. So there's a very strong connection between our task force and the Operation Pollination. So at the international conference, when we did our breakout session, we had the editor of the Rotary magazine there, and he wanted to write an article in the Rotary magazine. And what resulted from that is an article in the December food issue, which Kris Cameron and Emily Catherine from the Food Waste Task Force really contributed mightily to. And so that was a really big win. Do you want to say anything more about this slide, Kris?
Sure. So at the beginning of this Rotary year, we created some strategic goals for the task force, and our number one goal was to promote plant-rich eating within ESRAG and Rotary. And so we have submitted articles each month to the ESRAG newsletter. We contributed to, as Scott said, this edition of the Rotary magazine, which was great. It mentioned ESRAG, mentioned the Green Events Handbook, talked about the climate impacts of our food system. So it was just terrific. And then on the screen, you'll see last Valentine's Day, we tried to make the connection between caring for the environment and caring for your sweetheart on Lover's Day. Also, just to remind people that this is our only home and how we treat it matters. And that, you know, we have a challenge with our task force in that just about everything else is asking people to give their time, their talent, their treasure to something that is beyond themselves. And our task force is really asking people to look inward at themselves and maybe change some of the ways that they go about their life in the world. And that's a little bit more difficult to challenge for us. So a lot of what we do isn't being able to point at a forest or you know, a river that's been cleaned up, but more to look toward educating people about the impacts of their lifestyle and how they might minimize their footprint on the planet. So for us, it's really important to get the word out, to get information out. And recently, Dawn and I have teamed up. Dawn submits a recipe each month to the newsletter, and I contribute some information about why plant-rich diets matter and how they impact the planet. So we've recently learned that it's more important to teach people how to do plant-rich eating than why, that the why comes along later once they get their feet wet, so to speak, and learn how to prepare better foods for themselves. So that's our new focus. And Dawn is, I think, a budding YouTube celebrity. Last month, she piloted some how-to videos. So to go along with her monthly recipes, plant-based recipes, she did videos for how to prepare those dishes. And her sense of humor was just terrific. And she threw in lots of alternative ways to prepare the dishes. It was really fun. So moving forward, we're going to lead with Dawn's wonderful videos and her delicious recipes. And then I will follow up with a little bit of information about how it impacts the rest of the environment. And we try to make that information correspond with the monthly theme of each newsletter issue. Also, I was asked to submit a blog post for RI about why ESRAG has been the reason for me staying in Rotary. You know, I kind of was wondering if Rotary was the best place to devote my time and attention to follow my concern about the environment. And once I discovered ESRAG, and especially this group of people and the plant-rich diet work, that was it. This is my forever home in Rotary. And so they asked me to write about that. So hopefully that will show up fairly soon. It's been approved and whenever they publish. But so this goal is really important to us. And as Scott pointed out, not only in other ESRAG channels, we pretty much utilize all of them, all of their social media, their blog posts, things are posted on the webpage. And then also the Plant-Rich Diet Task Force has our own dedicated Facebook and Instagram accounts that we take advantage of as well to get information out there. So Dawn, I don't know if you want to add anything. I'm sure I missed something important.
No, you didn't miss anything. That was great, Kris. I just want to say how fun it is. And, you know, doing cooking classes over the years in Banff where we lived, whether it's to kids, seniors, anybody in between, people start to get light bulb moments when they taste food that is actually really delicious and it's nutritious and it's good for the planet. So there's this, you know, even our goal is to plant seeds to show people that there is other ways. When you add more plants in, it's not just a whole bunch of salads. There's a whole nother way to do this that can be completely satisfying, delicious, and we're not really losing out. We're all about the adding in. And I think that's really important because we're going to meet people at various different stages of their journey with this. Some people won't have a clue about the environment. Some people will have a lot. Some people will be more toward vegetarian, vegan. Some people will be complete carnivores and say, and that's okay. Like, we really want to just meet people exactly where they're at, give them some information, give them a few tips, and show them that they actually do have the power. This is a grassroots movement it has to come from everybody's individual plate. And so Rotary is the perfect vehicle for that when you think about the 1.2, 1.4 million of us. And it's really exciting to see people get these light bulb moments when they start moving toward eating more whole plant foods. So I just wanted to thank you.
And if I could follow on Dawn's notion about planting seeds, if I could take just a moment to talk about how that seed has sprouted in my own community and my own club. So after we did a film screening of Eating Our Way to Extinction here in our local museum, well, first of all, I got 6 Rotary clubs in our region to sponsor our local museum's environmental film and speaker series. So that put Rotary on the map locally on the environment. We screened Eating Our Way to Extinction. Then the following month, we presented a video that was presented by the task force. We had a plant-based buffet. From that, my club has started to offer a plant-based meal option at every club meeting. My district's conference last year did 100% plant-based menu. We've started a community plant-based potluck that is very well attended. The publisher of our newspaper attended one of our events and wrote an article in our local paper talking about his own plant-based journey as a result of being inspired by our event. We have a local woman who has started a plant-based food preparation and consulting business as a result of our work. There's a woman in a nearby club. She and her club were so inspired because of her participation in the Plant Rich Diet Challenge that her club has started a fundraising project where they're collecting plant-based recipes, and they're going to publish a cookbook as a fundraiser. So more events continue to happen in our community. More and more people are being attracted to this. And so those seeds, I think, are really important. You get something that starts somewhere and it grows and expands. And the best thing is I have a lot of older people in my club who will sit by me and say, "Hey, I tried the plant-based lunch today. It was really good." So I just wanted to share that those seeds really, it's important to plant them and that they grow in ways that you all sometimes can't anticipate.
Well said, Kris. So you're looking at a slide, Yasar, here, which is kind of the third, I would say, in our main trilogy of videos. Number 1 would be a video of our club presentations, a 25-minute video. I have a video, Anne-Marie's got a video. We've got several like that and several shorts. The second one would be the breakout session at RICON. This one here is a more recent production of ours where we interviewed Gerald Bishop. So Dawn and Doug were really spearheaded this, and Dawn comes into this video and introduces Gerard. I think we've got is the name spelled wrong here? Anyway, Gerard, he is a principal scientist in Australia, and really what he does is he lays bare that deforestation on our planet is a real scourge, and he shows exactly how industrial deforestation takes place and how it has accelerated over the recent decades. And then he lays it out that if we were to simply reforest the planet, it would modulate all the greenhouse gas emissions that we have going on now. A principal component of this is ruminant grazing. And there's a video documentary called Rewilding a Mountain out in the western US, which shows how when they simply took the grazing animals off the land, that the land was returned to nature, trees started to grow, the water was cleaned up. And so this is really a significant messaging point for us. I don't know if we wanted to actually go to the website or just to talk through the slide here, Kris.
I think it would be helpful to go to the website just to show all of the resources that we have there for people to take advantage of.
Okay, well, here's the website then. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right, so Kris really spearheaded a reframing of our website. We'd had a website up on the ESRAG website prior, but then there was a kind of a template that was provided to us for, kind of doing a modern ESRAG website. And so Kris really took all of our content and swung it over and reframed it. And so this is our we may be one of the first task forces to jump into the new normal as far as website development. And one of the things we've done here is we've leveraged some of the documents that we have down under so that we can continue to modify those documents, those resource documents. So it's really a living thing that we have complete control over at some level. So you can see here that, it's all about education. This link right here goes into more detail about how the plant-rich diet intersects with all of the Rotary focus areas. So we have a discourse on that, in addition to the 408 test slide that you saw earlier in our presentation today.
It's also available in Spanish, Scott.
Oh yeah, thank you. The Rotary values document that you just saw is available in Spanish. Oh, there it is right there. Thank you. And here's a video short that introduces the Plant-Rich Diet Challenge. Linked right here are a couple of our club presentations. We have a YouTube channel with 3 now separate channels. The Plant-Rich Diet Task Force video library is our larger library that just has a potpourri of things that we've produced. The 15-day Plant-Rich Diet Challenge speaker series is right here. And so this is in order the videos that we recorded back in 2021. And so they're there for the public to view. So here's the DIY kit for the challenge. People can just dive into the challenge on their own, or they can organize a challenge as a group challenge. Stop me along the way here if you think I need to highlight something. So this bottom part is really represents a full resource library. And so there's just people can browse through here, grab things that are catch their fancy. And there's just a whole ton of information here. Different recipes from different ethnicities, for instance, videos from other partner organizations. Oh, there's our frame booth. So I could just quickly jump in there and show you just a little bit about it. And they want me to know how to operate in the frame booth. Let's go. Hey. Yeah, so we won't spend a lot of time in here, but we have two walls here. Andrea Wooltown actually set this up in its entirety, taking a lot of the resources. So you can see the dual focus on impacts to the planet, impacts to our health, and all kinds of documentaries and things that you can take a look at there. There's Anne-Marie giving her intro back there. She's just speaking away. Here's myself. This is actually our 90-second I Fixed the Planet video right there.
Mhm.
And there's Dawn and a couple of us just giving a quick testimonial. That's Manish with his son's dog. And there's an advertisement for the 15-day plant-rich diet challenge. So that's right on the website. Let me see if I can figure out. Yeah, okay. Where did I go? Oh, here we are.
That's great, Scott. While you're reorganizing that, I will just mention that, ESRAG is an environmental organization, and the environment is really the main thrust of our work. But what we have found from experience is that you get more attention from people when you start talking about the human health issues of a plant-based diet. So that's a very good lead in to get people into the environmental issues, is to talk about the human health issues. So that's why you'll see both of those highlighted very significantly in the task force.
Okay.
And it completely personalizes and puts power to make change and spark change in the hands of the individual, rather than expecting governments and municipalities and others to do their thing.
Mhm.
The power, as they said, is in your plate to begin the change.
Yeah, and we really think a nonprofit like Rotary is essential to making this happen.
And we've
Well,
talked to Jennifer Jones, who's vegetarian, by the way, and she's from the adjoining district, about 50 miles from where Scott and I live. And she's been to our events, including district conference and the plant-rich diet booth that we set up at our district conference. And she and her husband, Nick, believe in this, and they promote it as well.
Here's our living resource guide, which we can modify and add more resources to. So you can see the different themes there. Animal welfare, direct human health, environment and the climate, books, children.
Well, and one of the things to highlight about the resources that we provided is guidance for people to create a community of support, because it's really hard to take on a new lifestyle without others along the way to help you, and resources to guide your journey. So we have found that helps people sustain a healthier lifestyle, is to have others that are doing the same thing along with them. And then also there are a lot of resources there to help clubs incorporate more plant-rich practices into their events and their meetings as well. So again, creating a community so that this is a supported activity instead of feeling like the Lone Ranger out in the middle of the wilderness.
Hi, thank you for embarking on this plant-rich journey with us. And first of all, we just want to really thank you for caring, for your awareness, and for giving this a chance. And we want you to know that we are here to support you 100% in anything you need to continue on this plant-rich journey for your health and the health of the planet. I have a few tips, because once you start on this, you may want to create a community of support. This is key for any key lifestyle change, especially around food. There can be a lot of resistance from family and friends sometimes when you're trying something new and changing some of the normal ways you've done things. which is normal and it's fine, and everybody arrives at these things in their own time, in their own way. But it's important to have people around you that are also on the same path, that can share your joys and your struggles through this journey. So I have an acronym called PLATE. And it starts first with my most favorite way to create a community of support, which is potlucks. You invite a bunch of friends, other Rotarians, and you just say, bring whatever plant-based dish you like. It could be even takeout, it doesn't matter. The key is gathering together, having fun, seeing the variety of plant-based meals that are out there that you can choose from, and talking about your joys and your struggles on this journey. The second thing, L for lunches. Rotarians gather over meals all over the world. Why not create more plant-based options at those weekly meetings, or maybe once a month you have an entirely plant-based menu? That can be a really great way to show people how they can feel full and satisfied and nourished with different types of food. The other thing is you could go to a plant-based restaurant or a favorite restaurant and choose the plant-based options and see what they're like. There's lots of ways to engage through a meal on plant-based things. The third thing is activities. We have a great amount of resources on our website for movies, talks, speakers. As you've seen through our 15-day Plant Rich Challenge, there's lots of resources that you can participate in. You could create your own Facebook page. You could follow our Facebook page. You can also go for a cooking class night or have a cooking night with friends. Have an activity that helps to reinforce these lifestyle changes that are important, you've decided that are important to make. The fourth thing is togetherness. Humans have been gathering over food as an evolutionary part of our history for millennia. It's really important to have togetherness when you're embarking on this new change. It gives us a chance to have support, to talk about things, laugh about maybe a failed recipe or, what Uncle Joe said. It doesn't make any difference. The key is to be together, and it'll give you a much better chance of success, of maintaining this lifestyle change and evolving with it as you grow. This is about intention, not perfection. The fifth thing is enjoyment. It is really important to enjoy your food. Whole food, plant-based foods are nourishing, delicious, full of enjoyment, and do it in whatever way it fits your lifestyle, that it feels fun and lively and engaging. Baby steps. You don't have to change completely overnight. Most of us don't change overnight in anything, let alone our food choices, which have such cultural and emotional connection. So take it easy on yourself. Know that you've already taken the most important step, which is to raise your awareness and to care. We are here for you, and every single meal you choose that is plant-based has an average chance of saving 63% of greenhouse gas emissions. Your plate matters, and you have the power to help climate change. Thank you.
Woohoo. What a beautiful and soothing video. It's such a fantastic,
Beautiful.
I sort of picked that one at random, Yasar, but I think it was a good one.
Dawn is amazing.
She's a star. As are you all.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's great.
Yeah, so that's the website. We've got a few more slides here. We do have a whole list of organizations that we have envisioned doing strategic partnerships with. We actually wrote an MOU with the Center for Nutrition Studies at Cornell University, with the premier nutritional scientist T. Colin Campbell that wrote the China study, which is the largest population study ever done on the relationship between a person's health and their lifestyle. And we have 3 persons who have a certificate in nutritional studies from the Center for Nutrition Studies. That's Doug, Dawn, and Anne-Marie. And you can see here that Don is pursuing another certificate there. And so we're just kind of working all kinds of potential partnerships. And, you know, one of the big ideas we have, Yasar, is to form a Polio Plus like coalition to really educate the world. There's a lot of significant organizations pulling on this thread, including the World Health Organization and UNICEF, who are principals in Polio Plus, who state unequivocally that climate change is one of the largest threats to not only global health, but children's health. So, you know, sometimes we say, well, we're not going to do another Polio Plus, but maybe we should.
Maybe we should, exactly.
And this could really be kind of our final slide here. So we really appreciate you engaging with us, Yasar, and helping us to elevate the activity of the task forces. And so I could say that I rest my case.
Beautiful.
Okay.
I must give a lot of credit to Doug White, who has literally been our driving force and conscience and guiding, you know, guardian angel in helping us steer through this journey as well since this plant-rich diet task force began.
Absolutely. Amazing leader. Thank you, Doug.
So,
Doug made a presentation at the Eastern Regional. That's where we met Doug. And I was trying to bend the arm of the chapter lead at that time to get us in contact. And she was being a little too protective of Doug. We finally got in touch with him.
Doug's the best.
Yeah. Scott, thank you very much for this presentation. I'm looking at your request from ESRAG. These are, you know, very appropriate, and that's actually what we are doing. Doug will, you know, join me that we are having, you know, meetings with each task force, and I'm learning so much. Frankly, I didn't think we had so much work being done in task forces, and I very much appreciate all what you are doing. And I think we should work on how do we spread the word to more ESRAG and Rotarians members. I think we have to work on this.
Mhm.
The idea is very correct, but we have to work on how to make it a reality. I think that's where we need to be working. And also, I'm fully online with the Calgary organization. So we already identified Down to be part of that team. So we must work on this. But really, I thank you very much for all the work you have done.
Very good. There's my slide on the global coalition with a list of potential partners.
Nice.
Can I also join in thanking you guys for all that you do? One lead that I could give you is the lifestyle medicine for the world. One of the board members is here, and she's no longer an active Rotarian, but we could use her reach too for the lifestyle medicine she's on the board of. And we have got 3 doctors here if you want to increase the reach in India, who are also on the Indian board of the lifestyle medicine group. So that I could help you guys with if you'd like to take that
Definitely.
forward.
You know, we tried to get a stronger Indian participation. And I was at the Rotary Club of Bombay in the last year and a half. Funnily, I found the most interested person was a German Rotarian who lives in Mumbai. He settled there. Who vegan and
Yeah. So I just want to know how many members are there in your task force?
Oh boy, the mailing list has over 20.
Okay.
Typically,
And
there's a core group of maybe 6 to 10 of us that are able to attend meetings on a regular basis, but we have a lot of folks who say, I can't make the meetings, but I want to read the minutes and I want to help where I can.
And we do meet, the task force does meet twice a month, one official meeting and one sort of meeting because an official meeting is an hour and a half and we never seem to get through everything. So the second follow-up meeting is, just, join it if you can. But Mina, thank you for your offer. Please send those links for the contacts for.
what I would suggest is let me get in touch with them and get them to get in touch with you guys, and you can take it forward.
That would be fabulous because lifestyle medicine is the key to spreading this.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And Sheila Nambiar is a doctor, and she has been instrumental in pushing. She started off from the Indian lifestyle medicine this thing, so that would be great. The second this was I just wanted to know the geography of the people that you have in the task force.
Scott, can you find the slide that Amber you sent us on the weekend? It didn't get put in here, which shows where we are all located.
Because other than with the diabetes rag that you're trying to reach out, another way of looking at plant-rich diet is the first thing that comes up with the recipes is the costing. Avocado in season, out season, we go through. And if I may suggest, when you're looking at the operation pollination, please don't bring in the monarch story in. Butterflies are the least effective pollinators other than 2 hesperids. I'm an entomologist. So if you could remove the avocado from that frame. And in India, for most of the Solanaceae, hand pollination occurs. For all of you who eat any Solanaceae, especially other than potatoes, in India, women get up at 3 a.m. to take the male flowers to the female flowers between 3 and 5 a.m. to pollinate, because most of the pollination is done by hoverflies and not even bees or solitary bees when you come to most vegetables. And when it comes to avocados, it is hoverflies in most cases. And so when you're talking about pollinators, this is the problem in a lot of spaces with Operation Pollination, is the concentration on the monarch story. And for most of it, it is climate change. And the other is the, the movement of the monarchs are becoming localized. And so it's a good story, but these are the issues for you to spread if you need plant-rich diet and Operation Pollinator to move across.
Right. No, you're absolutely right, Mina, that globally it's less relevant to populations outside of the United States. Whereas for us, Ann Arbor is right in the path of the flight of the monarch migrations every year. So
I understand. Kris and I have,
yes.
I have been with Kris also from the beginning. And this is where I keep telling him. And
We need to
so
it's a bigger story. It's a bigger story in North America. Just in, we call it the canary in the cornfield. But the biology is correct. Your
And Mina,
biology is correct.
I
Yeah.
live on the west coast of the United States, and we have a much smaller monarch migration than the huge one that goes up through the center of the states. But what Operation Pollination has allowed us to do in our region is to let people know we focus more in our area because we grow a lot of fruit on bees, but this project has helped us educate people about it's not about monarchs and bees, it's about all pollinating species and what we're doing to them.
I do understand, and I'm just trying to say it is a beautiful story, and to get this, there are a few more ideas that I was trying to say is like, you already do the mapping of where the pollinators are, of the pollinator parks that clubs create. Also mapping what are growing there with the pollinators also makes it a little more interesting. So
Yeah.
it is, and who are the gardeners? Most of the gardeners are older people these days, and most of them are Rotarians. So, kind of bringing that in. And when you say going into a plant-based diet, let me just, in India, everyone thinks a lot of us are vegetarian, but 94% of the population isn't. Of the 94%, over 70% have almost all their 3 meals with 80% of meat or fish products. So why is that? The economics of it. So when you are presenting also your diets, let's see if you can bring down the costing, because that also plays a part. Because in the US, you get all vegetables or fruits throughout the year. But when you start looking at the cost of an avocado, say, the same diet, if I decide to show somewhere else, it becomes an issue. So even in our club in a hotel, we cut down on a lot of vegetarian dishes because off season or in season. So this is what I'm just trying to tell you is like, it's cheaper in meat. These
A great member to our task force.
Huh?
You would be a fantastic member to our task force.
I guess I'm not vegan because I can't because of my medication, but
That's
I've
okay.
been a vegetarian most of my life. But this is the issue. So you have to look at it from multiple hooks.
Sure.
Yeah.
To get this moving
This-
beyond the United States.
Manish and I met with Argus Farm Stop last week, and they're making vegetables available in Michigan, locally grown vegetables available year round, even though we have a winter season. And so this farm stop is causing the farmers to gain a 70% return on their produce instead of sending it through the larger commercial market where they get about a 10% return. So we're actually proliferating the farming footprint in our county because of this particular economic portal. It's a 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. farmers market essentially. And so there are models that can help to not only increase plant-based options, but make it more economical for those growers to produce those plant-based options.
And we have a food voucher system in place that reduces the cost of supply of vegetables about 10 kilos approximately from $30 to just $4.
Mina, something you brought up that I've been thinking about is we live in an area with a lot of hydropower, so our electricity generation is renewable and it's also very cheap. And I keep wondering, what if we built solar-powered greenhouses to provide more regionally grown fresh produce to lower our carbon footprint and make that kind of food more available? So another, connection with.
I would go in it in a little more in saying, let's eat seasonally. We don't need to be greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And actually, that's just my way of looking at it, because I still work with Solidarity and smaller farmers here. So, you know, it is a challenge. And eat locally should also be a part of this, so that it makes it may sound jingoistic, but in a lot of Rotary clubs and things that I see is like the pride of something local, you know, is also a hook in terms of clothes and things. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what this Argus Farm Stop thing is all about, is eating local food.
Is eating locally grown food and local recipes for, you know, that's
Yeah.
also
Right.
hook that we do here, older members, is heritage foods at that season. So, I don't know, you get people coming in for fundraisers that way, saying, you know, this is what was being cooked here, and these are the vegetables this season.
It's
And
one of our goals is to change the chicken roast fundraisers over to plant-based fundraisers.
just one more question. I know you had 1,000 people sign up, and Yasar has been pushing from the beginning of the year to see how behavior change could be, you know, looked at. Maybe changing to something else, as you know, takes time and everything. But, you know, maybe could we do like a survey and find out about 1,000 people if they did, you know, plant-based, you know, just like just 5 things, you know, how many days in a year they ate, if they could just put it, you know, you could look at behavior change.
One idea we have is to create a library of testimonials of Rotarians that have made the change and what that change has meant for them.
And Mina,
It's, I agree with all that. It is just as a RAG, we have to report to Rotary also in a little bit of numbers on our impact. It may sound clinical at this point, but as a RAG, we are forced to give this also.
Mina,
Yeah,
we know that there's a real need and desire to have some metrics to measure the impact. And we do ask participants to give us that information, but we can't force them to. So
even out of the 1,000, if 30 reply, that's good enough.
Okay, good to know. But we can put that together.
Exactly, my point is like, if you could just, and how many joined ESRAG, if you could get that would be great too. Because other than spreading this as part of ESRAG members, our growth and membership also counts. I'm sorry, I'm plugging for the board and the membership, but we're getting to the end of the year and Yasar has to do the report.
Thank you, Mina, for your, you know, contributions. Those are really, I think they are good ideas. Yes, we have to report our impact. And I would just add one thing. I think the resources are excellent. They seem excellent. I will, you know, personally go into and study more. Look at the recipes, for example. I don't eat meat, but I have to see other things. That brings me to my other comment, which is, how can we make these available to others, in other languages? Shouldn't we translate some of these into languages where we target? You know, maybe you can select your target regions or countries or however you decide on that, and make your, you know, resources available in those countries also.
You know, this is one of the things that we've talked about, translating our materials into Portuguese, because Brazil is such a huge problem area, but also we just feel like this came up in our chapter meeting the other day, that we need financial support.
Well,
Those things
fine.
take time, and where are the resources to help us expand this reach?
I think ESRAG should be able to support you in this. Maybe we can open, fundraising campaigns, not only for your resources, but also ESRAG's other resources. I think we need videos in many languages, not in just English, French, and a couple of Portuguese, but in Korean. I mean, why not
Chinese?
Chinese? Why not in Japanese? We don't have any members, almost no members from Japan or South Korea. Very few,
Yeah.
very few.
But Yasar, where's the support from Rotary International? And I know that's a structural problem, but I just feel like this is really important, and Rotary kind of keeps ESRAG at arm's length, it feels like.
Well,
Not
it's
just
not just,
all
it's
rags.
it's
All
not
rags,
just
all rags.
it's not just ESRAG, it's all rags. They don't financially support the rags. For these, we have to develop our own fundraising, get money from there.
Well, and it speaks to Mina's question about, where are the task force members? Because if we had significant Rotarian members from South Korea or from China, or these people could dub over videos, perhaps create a translation of the video material. So even on a volunteer basis, but certainly funding is a potential fix.
The largest food waste global grants have come from Taiwan and Korea and Hong Kong. So those have been going on even before environment became this thing. And Yasar and I saw, and I followed up with what Hong Kong has been doing. And what they do is they have these the extra food comes to centers where people can go in and cook. They don't let you take the food back home. They let you come there, cook with your families. And so it becomes an event. So maybe through Corolla and other people in Taiwan, but to reach them, we need, a few of you at least at the RICON in Singapore, because for them it was close to come to Singapore. And maybe that conversation would work better.
So Scott Nelson and I are going to attend, and Ambery Majumdar and Bianca Polak will be at the Singapore Rotary Convention.
The first stop would be at if you're coming in early, as is the rag time. And the second stop is at the Carter section, because that's on the Carter. The Carter meeting goes on 25th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Doug, you're not coming, isn't it? No. So the largest contingent of community economic development and health, the Carter members, are women who are doctors and whom I have been working with on other projects in Southeast Asia. These are very powerful Rotarians who get money in. So whoever is coming, please reach out to me. I'm just going there to meet these women for other projects that we've been collaborating on, and not just environment. And these women are the people you need to meet.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Doug, for organizing this. Any questions from your part to us, to me? I'll be happy to answer. I understand Dawn is going to leave soon. I think we should be quitting, but if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy answer. Maybe I can say one more thing. Maybe we have asked Rotary International to take the climate and the environment to a higher level within Rotary.
Yes.
So we modeled it after DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusivity, and we looked at what they did for that. We saw that they did two things. One is they established a committee, a task force. I think it became a task force that takes this issue, works on it, advises the board, and does follows it and brings issues to the board. Second, they published a policy statement, DEI policy statement. These happened at the same time. So we said, we, as the climate roadmap working group, I wrote to Gordon McInally that we want you to appoint a task force and publish a policy statement. They came favorably to our request, and then they asked for a simple policy statement. We have provided a policy statement to them about 1.5 page long, but they said, come to us something with simpler. So we suggested them a policy statement with only two items. One, as many countries are announcing, is net zero emission goals for 2050. So announce a 2050 net zero emission goal for the Rotary or Rotary International. And surprisingly, again, they came back, 2050 is too far in the distance, bring it forward. So fine. So we discussed 2040. And the second item was train all Rotary officers. Like you are training any new club president in foundation, in membership, or whatever, train them in environment. And not just the club president, but also district officers, assistant governors, and the governors at the International Assembly. And the Rotary staff, because Rotary staff is an important part of this decision making, and they are highly influential, and they have to be on board with us. If not, it's difficult. We all are seeing these things as we live through. So these are the two things that we asked from them, and now we are working on these. For example, at Dubai COP28, there were a lot of people, as you know. The president was there, the trustee chair, Barry Ressin, was there, the John Hugo, the general secretary, was there, Mario Cesar was there. So there, we had a meeting with John Hugo on this, and he agreed to support us on, for example, the training. And so he put us in contact with, he recommended that we be in contact with DISCs, District International Service Chairs. So he put us in contact with the person in charge of this at Rotary. So we have meetings with them, and now they are going to introduce us to DISC members, all 500 plus members in their publications. So Ariel has written an article for their publication, and also he said he will help us in for the next International Assembly, 2025. because 2024 was already very close and made. And on the net zero, we discussed and decided that we need a baseline starting point. And since this is not known by Rotary's districts and so on, so we need to start with a number of voluntary pilot districts. So we will have maybe 10 pilot districts, which will try going net zero, start that journey. It's a long journey. It's not an easy one, I must tell. So that will go on. So we are following these. I'm coming to this net zero and in its relation to plant-rich diet force, plant-rich task force. How can we support them in clubs reaching net zero from this point of view? I mean,
Yes.
we should have, this kind of food available at all such meetings, district meetings, zone institutes, club meetings. That should be, I don't know if we can put it, but they should have this kind of food as an alternative, at least.
Sure.
It's in there. It's in the green handbook. And just a quick note here in the city of Ann Arbor, Yasar, they have a net zero plan, and several of our adjoining groups, Plant Rich, Veg Michigan, the Washtenaw Optimal Wellness, inspired them to write plant-rich diets into their net zero plan. So there are models for that, and it definitely can be done. You can easily, with the presentation like we gave here today, tell Rotary that you don't have a net zero plan unless you have plant-rich diets written into it.
Yeah, I think our objective should be getting this into the Rotary leadership's agenda and in the writing, so that it will be visible by all the district governors,
Right.
And it will cascade down.
I know Ambery made a large effort to write to Jennifer Jones when she was the president of Rotary International a year and a half ago, to promote this venue, because Jennifer herself is a cancer survivor and a vegetarian, and she said she would do something. So we're hoping, again, to rally the troops along, so to speak, the Rotary leadership. And Ian Risley is vegetarian Australian, and he supports what we're doing. Haresh Ramchandani, several others around the world are big advocates for the movement. There's a Portuguese district governor, I think, who's very involved with the Rotary Fellowship of Vegans that we are part of. So there are things moving along, but we certainly need more, organized efforts to do this. Scott, one of the things I was thinking is, Yasar, would you be able to share that 1.5-page statement that you mentioned they want trimmed? We can add something around the food systems and plant-rich diets as part of a combination of the white paper that Scott handed out at a previous RICON. And that might help, again, show the closeness. And of course, our 4-way test interpretation with plant-rich diets, I think, is key.
Yeah.
I
can share that policy statement that we sent to Rotary International, to Gordon McInally. But, as I said, they said this is too much, too complicated. Bring it, make it simple, so that we offer those 2-item policy statements.
Right.
I can
help you perhaps find ways to condense and simplify it, hopefully.
Yeah, eat plants and plant trees.
That's
there you go.
Yasar, I'm wondering if maybe a practical hook to hang this on is, when I was recently back at One Rotary Center, I was, they're doing some good things where they're using reusable plates and utensils and that sort of thing, but the plant-based food landscape was pretty bleak there. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we could work with One Rotary Center and get them to implement all the things we'd like to see, and then have that be a Rotary Magazine article in all the regions to get that out there, that, hey, we're modeling, we're walking our talk, and you can too, and here's how, with some resources to guide people to to things that they can do themselves in their own part of the world.
Yeah, okay.
Great
Let's
idea.
talk about this in the coming days, Kris. Okay, I'm taking my notes on that.
Thank you so much. They're trying. They're just not all the way there yet.
Right. And I think the other document that would really help you is how we are connecting all the other six areas of thrust of Rotary with plant-rich diets. I think that's an important document, and that might help you also show the connectivity and the common links across.
Okay, let me say one more thing on this, because I think it's very, it's long, getting long, the meeting. Many things are interconnected. I don't think we can, segregate these, put these in silos. So, and the projects, global grant projects, are either this one or that one. Those are not correct.
Yeah.
And I think we as a climate, as an environment RAG, should be working with other RAGs.
Absolutely.
So, for example, for the month of April, which is the environment month, as you know, we have invited other RAGs to come and make presentations at our Wednesday webinars, so that we will establish a relationship with them. And I also want to meet with the other chairs of RAGs. So I made one meeting, Nilam Bedi, thanks to him, he organized that. I met with the Community Economic Development RAG chair, and we agreed to cooperate. So I will keep on, meeting with others, and hopefully out of these meetings, some things will come out. I mean, that we have to do first, and discussions and, exchange of ideas will maybe bring us something new.
Right. And similarly, we have reached out to the Preventing Diabetes RAG, and there's a Health and Wellness RAG and a WASH RAG, which I'm also a member of. They're all connected, as you said. So yeah, hopefully.
Mina?
The Plant Food System RAG out of Tasmania have got plant nutrition kits for most of the parts of the world. So that's an excellent resource that you should connect with, that you can, it gives you, for any family, what are the plants that are required that complete your nutrition goals.
Can you repeat that? What is the RAG name?
It's called Plant Food Solutions.
Okay.
And they've been here for more than, I think, 8-9 years or more.
I joined that group, and we have spoken with them.
Yeah, especially to get the kits, the nutrition kits, and that makes a more powerful statement saying that you can grow this in your garden.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's a great suggestion, Mina, and we have looked in those. I've looked at their data, and one of the interesting things that comes out of this RAG is that they publish these local foods, and they've said that a lot of people reject them because they say they're poor people's foods. They don't want to eat these local plants. So it's a real education process that has to go. You can't just give them the foods. It's a whole education process that needs to happen.
Yeah, we bump up against that too.
So this is the
It's just like
jingoism, cultural
building with
heritage.
them. Yeah, building with
the jingoism we do is to get people to start growing more local amaranths. Here is the jingoism that this is what your tribe was eating for 500 years. And immediately you see these microgreens coming up. Everyone is trying to grow it. So I think a little bit of jingoism goes a long way.
Right. You're right, Mina. In India, I'm very closely connected with the Director of Smart Agriculture for India, who's the millet queen of India, literally promoting millets in very large ways. And we are also connected to the United States sorghum industry and organizations, again, to use lower glycemic sources of food that are more climate friendly and water friendly. So we're trying to promote even internationally in this manner. It's outside this RAG, but it's just something that we're...
Yeah, See, I'm a member of IFOAM and BioFac and all that. And where we live here, it's a biosphere reserve, and these were things that went away when the British came. They just bought potatoes and tea and coffee. So, so that's coming back, and this is jingoism. This is all we do.
Could I change the subject and ask a kind of an embarrassing question? Yasar, is that how you pronounce your first name?
Yasar, yeah.
Yasar. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Doc, are we done?
Yes, we are. And I must compliment Istanbul's airport for the business class lounge has the absolute widest variety of plant-based foods. I had a during my
Actually, Turkish food is quite plant-based.
yes, it is.
A lot of plant-based foods.
Absolutely. And
It's
we have
really-
a Turkish population in the Metro Detroit area as well. I have a lot of friends and engineers and people around, so we get around. It's awesome. Yeah. Next
Okay.
time in Istanbul, I'll give you a call. I don't know how far you're from the airport.
It's about 1 hour from where I am.
Oh, sure.
Well,
Right.
thank you both, Yasar and Mina, for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I will send the links as I get them. So I have access to your emails for your task force through Ambari, so it'll come
Will
to
you
you.
both be in Singapore, by the way?
Pardon?
Will
I
you-
am planning to be.
Let's connect
Uh,
for sure.
But I'm also going to be in the US waiting for my Mayo appointment. So I'm going to be in the East Coast from the 16th and then move to the West Coast and hopefully meet with Chris because he's
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's in Minnesota, right where Mayo Hall is. Yeah,
so I'm just waiting for my date at Mayo for
great.
that.
Let me know if I can help you anyway. We have a big network here at University of Michigan Hospitals, Ann Arbor as well.
Thanks, but yeah, I'm a unique case and they've been following me up. So let's see if they give a
Okay.
free appointment.
Well, best of luck with that.
Good luck.
Yeah,
to
I'm
you.
trying to get on
Yeah.
the trial. So let's see. Thank you.
Manish, I
all
will
for-
send you the policy statement.
Mhm. And Doug and Yashar, as we were going through this call,
Mhm.
setting up the ACT task force, Felix doesn't have the time, but he's getting the other people in, and hopefully in 2 weeks we'll have an ACT task force.
Okay,
Great. Thank you.
thank you. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
Valentine's
Okay.
Day. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great meeting. Thanks. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a